A friend of mine recently sent me an Instagram reel about some guy who was down in the trenches for an e-girl. Now believe me, brother, I've been there before. But looking at that reel, I thought that I've been having for the past week flashed in my head. That guy really should want to be immortal. Now, I already hear you science-loving, cloud swab supporting soy teens thinking to yourself, but wait, life would lose all meaning and everything would become boring and repetitive and you'll see your loved ones never. Now, let's first look at mortal life. What do we do with our time here? We learn skills and build relationships. Reductionist, I know, but stick with me for time's sake. Human lives, if properly ordered, have us living to contribute to our society, in that we live positively. You work, have kids, contribute to your community, and die. And no, none of this is because the government has a grand plan to suppress your masculinity. It's just human life lived to the fullest. What we see here is human life lived with love and the good of the other at heart. However, due to our mortality, we can only tend to 3 or so generations of humans, and we are required to teach a generation that follows the skills that we learned that positively affected others. So this is where we encounter our first knock. After reaching the age of 90 or so, all the death and pain we suffer in our lives become too great a burden for us, according to contemporary consensus. However, I like to give the counter example of my dog here. He recently got hit by a truck and had to be put down. Throughout the entire process, carrying his bloody body while he couldn't move, up to seeing the light fade from his eyes during euthanasia, I did not once think about myself or any emotional pain that it caused me. My foremost thought was on caring for him until his death. Raising him from a puppy to where he was then seemed like a gift to me, to be able to see a unique entity grow and to be able to give him my love entirely without reservation. So it was not in anything that he gave me that I found joy. Instead, it was in pouring out my love to him that I found happiness. So, if we can fully love people without regrets and try our best at every turn not to fail them in their lives, in their deaths, we can see our mission as fulfilled. Look at Gandalf.
Shadow Wizard Buddy Gang. We love casting spells.
What did Gandalf do with his 2,000 years of life on Middle-earth? He was a guide, a counselor, a beacon of hope in dire times. Did Gandalf acquire all his skills and knowledge over thousands of years to aggrandize his ego? No. Gandalf did this so he could give his life away like a gift to others. So the reason the Soyjak says no to immortality is that he doesn't understand the world and the beauty it contains. But what is this beauty I speak of? It's the beauty of self-sacrifice. But it's also much more than that. It's getting to see the world change, to hear languages evolve, to read the writings of men and see the spirits of the people and the times shift, and to see the beautiful architecture created by people. Now that I try to listen, there is too much that is beautiful in this world to catalog in this short video. Why do children want to be immortal if you pose the question to them? You could say it's because they lack worldly knowledge about suffering, but that's just categorically untrue. Children do suffer, but you could also claim that the depth of their pain is less than that of an adult, but I'd also categorize it as false. Children in some parts of the world are street vendors and have to make their own way. Despite this, they seem more optimistic than most of us in better positions. Ultimately, I think that children are just inherently more aligned with seeing opportunity that the world provides. They do believe that all problems are ultimately solvable, which is something we lose in adulthood. In essence, to a child, no suffering is too great to endure. To be a child then is to be willing to face the trials and tribulations of life without becoming downtrodden in tough times. I try to say that this is because children tend to believe in some overarching good in the world that is greater than ourselves and that we should believe in and align ourselves to. And to this point comes the final revelation. It is in the realization that the world is greater than ourselves and that we are only stewards of this corporeal realm that we can choose to be mortal. In choosing immortality, we choose to eternally give ourselves to the good of the other and to bring about good in all situations. Paradoxically, that means if we look towards eternal life, we can do more with the very short and mortal life that we are given. To our friend in the beginning of the video, would his life and love life not feel less torturous if he were to see his life as a process of giving away love instead of constantly trying to seek to receive love? He would, in a very real sense, become more attractive to women if he didn't seem like a bottomless pit trying to receive love.